Hello and welcome to SideQuest episode number 86. It is it's the calm before the storm.
Before.
Yeah,
the eve before Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter Eve.
Well, actually 4 days. So Monster Hunter Eve.
Yeah, several Eves in there.
yeah, you know.
It's exciting, man. I can't wait to jump into a new Monster Hunter, man.
It's gonna be good. I'm ready. It's gonna be.
I'm excited.
Just looking on.
I'm excited.
Just looking on Amazon, and the collector's edition and the deluxe edition are sold out. So now I've got to start searching for those.
Gotta get scalping.
Yeah, the collector's edition comes with a Magnamalo amiibo, which I didn't know I needed until Eric told me I did.
There are 2 more amiibo you can go looking for as well, a Palico and a Palamute as well, if you want them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Will
there be will they be usable inside Monster Hunter?
Yeah, so if you scan the Magnamalo one, you get layered armor for your hunter, which looks kind of cool. And then if you scan the Palamute and Palico ones, you get armor sets for those as well. So they do look
armor sets,
cool.
Briar.
Well, not armor sets.
Sets.
Layered armor sets.
Still,
yeah.
You know, you gotta flash it.
It's got to be done. But now you got 2 Switches as well, right? So will Memes play Monster Hunter?
Oh yeah, no, we're excited to play to team up. I'm just like I'm gonna stream it, you know, but I'm also excited to like be kicking back in bed with my Switch doing a hunt, and also the idea that Meme's gonna be kicking back in bed also hunt, like linking up to go do a hunt.
Yes,
that is so awesome.
Good. That is honestly that's the thing is like I know we're in this like day and age of like online gaming, but honestly most of my best Monster Hunter memories have just been, you know, sitting somewhere playing local multiplayer, like whether it be like on a plane, in a train, just like going somewhere and hunting. I love that, man. I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm super excited for it. You know, like Monster Hunter World was my first Monster Hunter that I got really into. So that was like the taste of it, and the idea with Rise and it being a new the evolution, you know, of stuff coming forward and adding new stuff, but also being on Switch. I'm very excited for Friday.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And there's a lot of like cool, you know, new things. I can't wait to like. I mean, I think we spoke about it before when we in like the previous podcast episode. But yeah, things like the rampage mode and stuff. That's the one thing that's always really interesting about these kinds of Monster Hunter games. Whenever like Ichinose works on it, so these are like. Not that they really worry too much about that, but these are kind of considered like the spin-off titles. They're not like the main series like Monster Hunter 4, 5, or you know, this, that, and the other. But it doesn't make them any less important. But these ones, they can often, like, Ichinose likes to do some kind of wacky stuff. Like, you think of Generations, he did, like, Hunter Arts and things like that. And, like, you know, this one kind of having switch skills, having wire bugs, and seeing now, like, if you had told me in a few years back that there would be a day where we're playing a Monster Hunter where I'm riding on the back of a T-Rex and there are, like, 5 monsters just trying to run down a gate, I'd be like, you are crazy. What have you been drinking? And now with places you got Mario Party Monster Hunter, and I'm like, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, the fact that you mount a monster and make them fight each other and slam, like, do the moves and all that, like, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna buy the digital or the physical edition?
Digital.
Both. I'll buy the physical just so I got the collection, and then digital just because convenience. And so, like, you know how there's a few games where I always want it to be on my Switch no matter what. Like, I can always bring the cartridge with me, but you know there'll always be that occasional time where you're like, oh, I left the cart at home. Like, Monster Hunter is a game that needs to be on my Switch no matter what. So if I happen to be like throw my Switch in a bag and then I'm like, oh, I've got to go and wait somewhere. Like, well, I've got Monster Hunter. I would hate to be like, I can't hunt. So it needs to be there.
I need my Monhuns.
I need it. I don't ever bring the Switch anywhere, especially in the last 2 years. I think the only time I ever left my house is when I actually like got on a plane to travel. And that was the only time I actually played it was on the plane itself. Like once I arrived at the destination, I didn't much touch it. But like it's perfect for a plane ride because it gives you something to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm just so bored during plane rides.
For me,
but
it's
because I have the case, I can always just put the cartridges in the case.
Yeah. For me, it's the option and idea of knowing that I have it with me. Because like I feel I usually don't play it once I'm off the plane in various locations because there's like it's relaxed time or you're doing this, that, whatever. But
I'm far too drunk to operate the controls effectively.
Too many pina coladas. The option of knowing that I have the Switch in case I do have a sudden period of boredom strike. Yeah, that's like golden.
Yeah.
True. Also, I think the thing I like about it, like obviously being portable as well is like, because I was chatting to someone about this other day, like, why are you so excited about it being portable? You can't go anywhere right now anyway. Like, you're just gonna play at your desk. It's like, for the most part, I will. But I think one of the things that I like, and I guess you guys probably get the same sort of thing, like when you're making content, you tend to associate sitting at your desk with like work, right? So at least even on a weekend, if I want to hunt, if I sit at my desk and hunt, even if I'm not making videos, it's still like my work environment. So just being able to literally be like, I'm going to hunt on the sofa, even if it's just like 100 yards away or like 10 yards away, it just feels that disconnect is just like, all right, now I'm in chill mode. So
I think people underestimate that a lot, because for me, the beauty of the Switch is that I can literally put it in my pocket and bring it anywhere in the house. Even though I'm just in the house, like I want to be.
What do you got? Jenko jeans? How big are your pockets?
It's the sweatpants.
Aladdin pants.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not jeans, but the sweatpants have got some deep pockets in there. But like, I'll like bring in the studio, be in the bedroom, bring it downstairs, making like coffee or juice or something, and be like on the Switch in the counter,
I like having the physical edition. I like buying the physical edition because one, I can put it on the shelf, and it's like, I have all my Switch games on the shelf. Like I can look through the games and all that stuff. But also, it really scares me that all these, Nintendo has already done this, is that the online shops are going to go away. And like some of this stuff will just disappear, right? Even though you bought this, you'll no longer own it. And the reason I ask about this is because there's news of a rumored leak from PlayStation that the PlayStation 3, the Vita, and the PSP stores are actually going to be shut down this summer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a big deal. I think the people most probably upset by this are probably the PS Vita kind of aficionados, because basically won't be able to get software for this thing anymore. I mean, you can pirate it, and that's probably what the vast majority of people will do, is just turn to piracy for all three of these systems once these stores are shut down. But there's a bunch of software that's no longer going to be commercially available. You're just not going to be able to get it. Even if you already own it, you won't be able to re-download it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah,
it is. I don't know. Like it's obviously not good. Like if you have a vast library on PS3 and the store's shutting down, now you don't have access to that anymore. That sucks.
Yeah, you can download it and like put it on your PS3, like all the games that you can fit at least. But then, PS3s aren't known for their reliability, especially launch models. So like what happens if your PS3 dies? Then what's the option there? So I think the option is going to be piracy. I think Sony's basically going to force the community. I mean, the PSP and the PS Vita are definitely like hacked to all hell, so you can pretty easily get whatever game you want on there. But now there's not even going to be a legal option for you to turn to if you want it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes, it's weird because I mean, you want like, it's a difficult situation because I imagine from a business point of view there comes a point when it makes sense, right? Because it's like, all right, well, we're not making games for these systems anymore, and like obviously I guess it's server space. It's probably, I have no concept to like the expense of running it and stuff, but I guess there comes a point where they need to be like, all right, how many people are actively logging on and actually using this? But if only there was like it would be cool if there was like a way, like a legacy way of being like, we're going to have to shut the store down. But I mean, I don't even know what the answer is. I'm not like the tech head, but if there was like a legacy way of just saying, hey, here's your like offline link to what you have purchased. And then you can still play it. Like that's one thing, but yeah, because it's because I feel like the Vita fans, especially, they kind of got that diehard following. Because the Vita was a fantastic console, but it just like it never kind of got the support properly. But then you kind of got the diehard Vita community that are just like, this was a great system. I bought every single game. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to think.
And there are new games coming out for the Vita still.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
they still make games for Vita?
Yeah, I mean they're indie published games, obviously.
Okay,
but
I didn't even realize that. I genuinely thought like Sony had just been like, we'll just pretend this doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. That they
they completely dropped it. I don't know. It makes me very wary to buy digital goods. This happened to the Wii several years ago now, where there's actually games that you just can't get anymore. There was a really good Contra game that came out for the Wii, like the Wii store. I can't remember what it was called, the Wii Shop or whatever it was. But there's just like, they shut that down, and now like some of those games were never released on disc. Same with the PS3 and the Vita and the PSP. I'm sure. I don't know about the PSP actually, but like once they're gone unless you turn to piracy.
Yeah,
And that's going to be doubly true on the Switch. How many games are on the Switch that never even got a retail release? Right?
Yeah,
A ton. A ton of games, good games. I think the Switch is going to end up being one of the most collectible consoles like ever because there is a digital store and so many people are buying digital games that the retail releases like through like limited run and signature edition games are very limited. So like a game like Blasphemous, which I know that you loved as well as I did, it got a very limited retail release and it's already going for like $150 on eBay.
Yeah, that's why, like, of all the games I buy, like, for all my consoles, you know, when it comes to, like, Xbox games, I mean, although this logic can apply to anyone, like, all the systems like that, like, when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation games, I'm kind of, you know, indifferent, whereas obviously, because I'm, like, a huge Nintendo fanboy, I do try, where possible, to buy my games physical, or, like, if I get given, like, a review code for something, I'll then go and buy the physical version if I can. And similar thing, like, I try and get, like, the limited run ones. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say, like, I do it from, like, a collector point of view, from the view to like reselling it one day, because I think I just like having them myself. But I do like you were sort of saying, Briar, anyway, like, I do like having games on my shelf. So yeah, definitely the Nintendo ones I will go above and beyond to try and collect. But there's so many gaps in it. Like when I think about like the amount of digital games I buy on the Switch, like there'll be someone will be like, oh, there's this cool new indie game, buy it, ad. Like I haven't got time to play it, but I'll buy it, and then one day I'll have time to play it. The list is just like
you're on a plane and you have a selection of 100 indie games to choose from. You're like, which game am I going to play for 2 hours that I've never played?
Genuinely, like, it's so cool because there's some like really cool people on Twitter that will like message me specifically about like indie games and be like, yo, you need to check this out, and I'm just like, this looks cool, let me buy it. Because I think to myself, when I eventually kind of like, you know, have some holiday or something and I just sit down, then I do like those indie games because you can typically complete most of them in like 10 hours, right? So they are quite good games to actually finish. It's not like, oh, I'm going to need to invest 100 hours in this Persona game. So yeah, it's gonna be,
also allows you to bounce around too. I'm a fan of bouncing around to like 2 or 3 different games.
Yeah,
it's always nice. It is interesting thing about this. I feel like Microsoft is approaching it the best way because they've made it so like Game Pass, there's a huge backwards compatible library of, you know, 360 games and all that. Is there Xbox OG Xbox games on there from Game Pass?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So instead of just letting it die off to the graveyard of past digital goods or past systems, they've enabled it, or they realize there's value in that software, and then they can add value to their current hardware. I hope Nintendo takes that or sees that as a cue and says we need to do that. I mean, they're kind of doing that with the Nintendo Online, where they're giving you Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo games, right?
Yeah.
So they're like brushing up against that, but maybe it's the hardware.
I mean, but they've already shut down the Wii store. Did they shut down the 3D or the DS store as well?
I'm not sure actually. I feel like they probably would have.
And I'm sure the Wii U store isn't far behind. For the 4 people who've ever played that system.
I'm one of them.
I don't even know where my Wii U is anymore.
Shut it down. They can sell it to you again. Don't forget, on the Switch.
That's right. Absolutely. They got to shut that thing down immediately.
Well, on the flip side, if it's been like 10 years since the last time you could buy a console of that generation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how long do they have to support that store when they've got?
I think it's in their best interest to support it for a long time, like Microsoft has. I mean, like I would argue that the best game you could play on an Xbox Series X right now is Panzer Dragoon Orta, which was an original Xbox game, but has been updated to take advantage of 4K HDR. I mean, it's a awesome playing game, and it looks amazing on a 4K TV with HDR. Like if you have an Xbox Series X, like you should absolutely download that game. It's only like $8 or something.
But you see, that's what I'm saying.
Actually, it might be free on Game Pass.
So that's what I'm saying. If you bought the latest Xbox hardware or some of the latest, you know, Series S or Xbox One X, and you have the Game Pass, like you're getting access to stuff that was previously available in different stores that is now brought forward. I really hope that Nintendo follows suit and starts doing that with the majority of their content, and Sony as well, because that just
I agree.
I feel like that makes the best goodwill scenario. Like you get an updated, better version of the game, or it plays on better hardware, you know, and also you don't have to worry about a license if you got Game Pass. Like I hope that's the future, and their big money bringers are the new systems and games that come in. Obviously those are, but you know what I mean.
I mean, I still have my PS3 hooked up. It's not that old, you know. It's not. I would hardly call it retro, you know.
True. Well, it's on the edge. You know,
that's the thing. It's funny. Like I think we kind of had. I asked this before, like many moons ago. But like, when do you consider something retro? Because even to a degree, it feels weird to say like PS2 is retro. To me, like retro is still like even N64. I feel like retro to me is like Sega Master System and like NES and SNES, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like I don't feel like in any time soon I would feel comfortable saying PS3, even PS2 is retro. But I don't know what's the determining factor.
The PS2 I'd say the PS3 kind of ushered in the modern era, whereas like you can play a PS3 game on a PS5 and it still like feels like a modern game. It'll look like low poly compared to what we're used to, but it'll still like, you know, it's still got twin sticks. It's still got all the same buttons. Like it'll feel and play like a modern game more or less. I think going back to PS1, PS2, I mean, PS1 looks really early. PS2 even like that didn't even have HDMI on it, you know?
But is that the quantifier for retro? Retro should technically be time and not like, does it look modern?
Maybe not. I don't know, because I think things got considered retro much faster. Like in the 90s, I would think by the time that PlayStation and N64 came out in like 1995, 1996, the NES already felt retro, and the Super Nintendo was not far behind because there was such a quantum shift in how games were presented and how what they look like. And so it felt older faster, whereas the PS3, you can play Street Fighter 4 and it looks like a modern game.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think we might be coming to an era though where like games don't look all that much different. It's more about like the physics and AI and all that's in there.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, definitely like up into 4K is a huge shift.
Yeah.
It really does improve the graphical clarity. HDR, I think too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and there's all the like new technologies, like you know, things just look more realistic with like new lighting technologies and new, you know, particle technologies.
It's an interesting conversation though, because like what does happen to all these digital stores, like websites that don't exist anymore or that have been shut down, and all the content that was on there. It's the same.
The Internet Wayback Machine has all those.
True. The console version of the Internet Wayback Machine, so you can get your PS2 games and your PS3 games.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's an interesting time.
Vanilla OG Destiny is non-existent. You can't ever go back to that. Or you can't go back to the Taken King. You know, like those are things that happened. They existed at one point and now they're gone. Like you can't re-experience when they first launched with all the patches and all that.
That's what happened with World of Warcraft, right? It's like there was no way to go back to that, so people made a way to go back to that. They like launched on private servers, like you know, like fan-made servers, and then Blizzard got wind of that and they did it themselves. So now you can go back and play like year one of World of Warcraft, right? Yeah. It's just crazy to think of. I don't think we'll ever get that in Destiny, but
yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know. It makes me not want to buy digital goods, you know, because there's always a chance that I could lose my right to access those digital goods. And if there's ever a glitch in my personal backup strategy, then there's just no way to recover that.
So I don't mind because I'm planning on playing it right now, and I know the store isn't going away anytime between now and like say 3 years or so.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm okay with it because I'm going to play it now. This is when I'm excited to play it. And if I could possibly find a physical copy, if there is a physical copy down the road. But I feel
Watts is in chat and she wants to talk about Monster Hunter Rise. Watts, Monster Hunter Rise is going to come out at the end of the week, and then we're going to talk about it, nothing but it, for like 3 months.
Yep. We're going to change this thing from SideQuest to Monster Hunter Quest. And that's it. That's all we're talking about.
So many quests, so many hunts. I'm excited.
Did you guys see the new PS5 VR controllers have been revealed?
They look quite cool. They look almost like little.
They do look cool,
gloves,
right?
Gloves.
I need to see these real quick.
They look more like I think that one of the biggest problems with the PS4 VR was that it relied on the Move controllers, which were PS3 technology, right? It's like those came out kind of like as a Wiimote, kind of competitor. These things look like full-fledged VR. And if you notice, there's a handle with like thumbsticks on them and buttons, and then there's a big hoop that goes around your wrist, and it looks like that hoop is set back pretty far. So maybe there'll be inside-out tracking on the VR headset, which means you wouldn't need cameras or anything like that. And PS5 or Sony has said that it's going to be a one-cable solution. So you'll probably just plug this into the USB-C port on the front of the PlayStation and be ready to go.
That sounds good.
No camera setup, nothing.
Yeah, I don't want that fiddly little like 3 cameras and cables and boxes and no. Maybe I was wondering whether, because it's got like the plastic casing around your fist. Maybe it's so that when like you're punching around in the world, you can like hit a wall and it won't smash your fist.
Yeah. No,
smash your controller.
I've done that.
Instead.
There's marks on my ceiling from playing.
Really?
There's this game called Racket NX, which, as you can imagine, is a racket like tennis-based game.
Okay.
But it's like, it's in space. Anyhow, there's marks on my ceiling from playing that game, doing an overhead smash. Got a little excited.
Hey, so for this PS5 controller stuff, is this part of like a whole set? Like, are they reimagining the VR for the PS5 completely? And this is like,
they've announced that they are going to come out with a new headset for PlayStation 5. They've showed the headset. No, they didn't show the headset, did they? I think they just showed like a render of kind of like
the phasing things in,
headset,
being like, here's a controller first. Yeah. I mean, this might be the headset, or this might be the VR experience I finally buy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I hope it's good, and I hope it's inexpensive, and I hope it's nice high resolution too. 120 hertz, high resolution, or as high resolution as they can get those little tiny screens to be. Good optics. I want it to feel like the Valve headset, but be $400.
Yes. I support this decision.
Is that too much to ask? I wanted to feel like $1,000 headset, but be $400.
What's the PS4 headset cost?
I think it started at $400. I don't know if it's still there or not. I don't even know if you could get one if you wanted one.
Yeah, no, I don't.
They still make it.
Like when they said that they were making a headset for the PS4, and I was like, yeah, but the PS4 is such crappy hardware to run VR.
I'll tell you, it worked pretty good though. It was a pain in the ass because you had to get this like external box, and there was like a million wires. The wiring was so complicated that the wiring they included in the box had numbers, so that you knew like which port to plug it into.
Oh Jesus!
Oh yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was a pretty cool experience. Like I played Resident Evil 7 on it, and I thought it was outstanding. It was it was low res, but it was awesome.
Cool. My favorite VR experience was still Rigs. I still really, really enjoyed that one. Just like the
mechanized
combat
fun
one, just like dashing around. And like some people said they made them. It's weird. It's the only VR experience that like, even though you're moving super fast, it just didn't make me feel sick at all. Like I was just dashing around with the mech stuff. It was cool. It was cool.
Nice.
I feel like that was a good use of it as well, because I was never like too much of a fan of one of the ones where they forced too much motion control in. So that was just like headset and actual PlayStation DualShock, which I thought was a really nice combo.
Nice.
I'm excited too because Sony's done a pretty good job at actually funding new VR stuff. So if they're continuing to like produce VR, because they have by far the most popular headset. The Sony one was by far the most popular one. So by keeping that in the PlayStation, on the PlayStation, which obviously there's not a lot of PlayStation 5 out there now, but there will be. Hopefully that will continue to increase the popularity of VR, and we'll start to see more and more kind of big budget projects.
See some
really
killer apps,
take advantage.
Killer games for VR. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what makes me excited about it too. The Valve one, I'm like, it's all the VR stuff I'm just so on the fence about, even though I know there's some really good stuff out there as of now, but there isn't like a Destiny for VR, you know?
Yeah.
Not that I want specifically Destiny in VR, but like that experience of that you want to go back and like play this game, or you know, or like a God of War or something in VR.
The Valve one is awesome, but it's so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like you definitely need that experience, like you say, like the experience that makes you like. For me, I mean, again, I know there have been those experiences, and maybe I'm just not that into it. But it's just like for me, a lot of the time, like I'll check out the VR experience, and I'm like, oh, I've heard this is quite cool, so I check it out. I'm like, yeah, it was a cool experience, and I'm like, I'm done. You know, whereas like I exactly that point, I want to be like, I put the game down, I'm already thinking like, oh, I can't wait to like put the headset back on and get back in again. I feel like I haven't personally had that yet. So until that, then.
Yep, that's what I'm looking for as well. Yeah.
Did you guys hear that the PlayStation kind of group bought the Evo fighting game championship?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I'm wondering what that means for like Smash Brothers showing up at Evo. Like,
I think they've gone and said like there will be other platforms featured in Evo still. Like they've specifically mentioned Tekken 7 being on the PC.
Okay.
I don't think they can mention Smash because Nintendo's lawyers. You know, like
Did you say Smash?
I don't think they have a problem with it being played in person, but they have a real problem with it being played online because the people who play it online use third-party tools to hack it to make it more like the netcode better.
That's so
silly. A bummer.
Yeah. Your netcode sucks. We're gonna fix it for you and then make it like a professional thing. Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, it's good that they're allowing multi-platform. I wonder if that's going to stick, you know, or if like a couple iterations down the road, then they're going to be like, all right, it's now PlayStation exclusive, all this stuff.
Yeah. Although it's interesting. I mean, so because like, I haven't thought fully on like the kind of pluses and the minuses of it. But the one thing is that like, obviously, Evo's got like a big following, but in the grand scheme of things, when you think about esports, like fighting game community is definitely smaller than that of say like Call of Duty or League of Legends or things like that. Like if they can have, I don't know what their intentions are, but if they can, if in buying it, they can then help like elevate FGC to sort of that same level. Because I love watching fighting games. I love like, I to be honest, I couldn't really care less about other esports because it just doesn't really interest me. But fighting games, I just love watching. So if they could then, if in doing this, they can help elevate it to a much greater degree. Because even like, you look at like the comparison point as well, like the winning like pot or the winning money pools for like FGC tournaments is just is like a drop in the ocean compared to that of like winning like a league
minuscule.
Tournament. Yeah, it's like they'll go home with like a bag of crisps and like a £10 note, whereas like you walk
like
out
for a major championship.
Yeah, whereas you walk out of League of Legends and they're like, yeah, here's my Lamborghini and here's my bag of cash in the boot. It's like, okay, so if they could actually do that and have some positive influence and like actually kind of like bolster the fighting game community, I think that would be great.
Yeah,
it would be great. I really like your line of thinking here. Like if they could promote it like on the PlayStation itself, like they used to do with Twitch streams, like in the little news section, like here's by the way, the Evo Championship's coming up this week, or they have like these local tournaments that you could join. They do this on their YouTube channel. Actually, is they have I don't know if you guys follow their YouTube channel, but they have I think it's weekly tournaments for fighting games like Tekken, like Mortal Kombat, and they play them out, and they're pretty professionally done. So it'd be nice if they do amplify it. I am worried, like you guys are, like I like to make fun of the Smash community because it looks like a game for kids.
Smash Bros.
No.
But I know that they're passionate, and I know that there's a huge following. I would imagine it's probably by far the most the most popular fighting game right now. So if Nintendo says no, we're not going to do this because it's now owned by a competitor, I think that's a real damn shame.
Maybe it's like an advanced play as well. Maybe it's like a play looking ahead to like when Street Fighter 6 comes out or something. Maybe like Street Fighter 6 will be like a PlayStation exclusive, so they're going to be like, it'll be like the marquee title for it. They're like, well, we own Evo. Street Fighter is a PlayStation exclusive. Bam.
Yeah. They could be like moving pieces together like that.
I could be wrong, but I think Capcom has said that the Street Fighter 6 will be on the Xbox as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure. Right.
But I mean, anything could change, right? Like,
yeah,
that's probably next year at like best, if we're lucky next year.
Yeah,
True.
I mean, didn't Street Fighter 5 first come out on PlayStation 4 exclusively, and then
Yeah,
PC later?
it's still a PlayStation exclusive. It
Yeah.
it is on the PC as well, but it's console exclusive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they had Street Fighter 6 and then the Evo combo. You are right though. Smash is a huge community for the fighting scene, and to not have that in Evo is going to be a significant blow to the viewers.
Where are all those furry and weebs going to get together now if they can't do it at Evo?
Now we're talking, right?
True. Did you guys see
Briar making enemies on the podcast?
You're making enemies. I am not affiliated with this man, I'll have you know.
I'm looking out for my friends.
Yeah, he is a weeb actually. He's a weeb now officially.
Yeah, it's true.
Been confirmed. I've been inducted by Watts, so you know it's got to be true.
Oh my. Did you guys catch the Square Enix showcase the other day? We've finally got a name for Project Athia called Forspoken.
No, I didn't see this.
So do you remember Project? Do you remember Project Athia before? The thing that was like they showed off in that. Yeah. So it's now got the name Forspoken, and they dropped this new trailer. Still not a huge amount, but it's got this interesting look to it. Almost looks kind of like to use the anime term, like an isekai, which is where like you kind of get pulled into like a world. From like you live a boring day job and you get pulled into like a fantasy like RPG.
You fell through a portal and suddenly you're in a fantasy world.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of got that vibe, but it just looks really cool. Like, obviously, at the moment, we haven't seen too much from like combat, and like the world looks kind of like barren. But the thing that I like about it is just the traversal. Like this character has got like lightning on her feet, and she is just dashing through the sky, and it's just like the movement and things like that. I have no idea as to what kind of game it is because the trailer doesn't really do a job of actually showing you that. But I guess it's early days. But I like it. I think it looks cool. Like I'm cautiously interested, despite not knowing what it is.
Yeah, I got it. I'm watching the trailer now, and it looks awesome. It looks kind of like a teenager, like a modern teenager, kind of transported back in time or transported into like the world of Demon Souls.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool.
Looks cool as hell, man. I'm in.
Yeah, there's that. And on the since we're on the anime train, there was also a new trailer for Scarlet Nexus, and we got confirmation that it launches on, I believe, June the 2nd. Scarlet Nexus was, of course, the sort of anime-looking action combat game with sort of like Ghost in the Shell style vibes, like red tubes connected to people, and there's kind of got these telekinetic powers where you can kind of mid-combat like grab things in your mind and just like throw them together. So it looks really cool. So this new trailer. Definitely is. What are you laughing at?
I just went to their website and there's a huge banner at the top for Scarlet Nexus, and there's a button for pre-order it now, and then watch trailer. The next thing down on the list, a huge button that says official cosplay guides.
Oh, there we go. That's for you.
That's you, Briar. That's your
That's right.
But the new trailer kind of is quite interesting because in all the promotion they've shown up until now, like you play as like this male protagonist, and like any of your kind of buddies seem to sort of like back you up, but you don't seem to play as them. Whereas this one showed perspective from multiple different characters, so it does look like we get to play as different characters. But yeah, I mean, I like these kind of games. It's not this one's not actually platinum, but it kind of has that sort of platinum vibe to it. It's just like DMC style, hacky slashy, just crazy combos, and yeah, it looks cool.
You have to create an account to watch the trailer.
I'm watching it on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Who goes to the official website to watch a trailer?
Anybody who wants to know how to do cosplay.
The official cosplay guide.
Amateur.
There we go. That's true.
I was going to say it's kind of like Persona meets DMC. Visual look.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, it does look really cool. Like what you said about Square Enix games, that's always how I am. I'm like cautiously interested about like like okay, yeah, this looks fun. I wonder if I'd actually enjoy it though.
True. I reckon
if you're gonna do cosplay for this game, you better start investing in belt buckles right now.
More so than Final Fantasy belt buckles. More zips, more buckles, more bright colors.
Anything else happened this last week?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I can't think of what it might be though.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the Justice League Zack Snyder cut?
Yeah,
No,
I did. All
I
4
haven't yet.
hours of it.
4
hours and 2 minutes of
hours.
it.
It's like
Yeah.
7 chapters.
Yeah.
Isn't it also shot in 4:3?
Yeah,
So-
I don't think it was shot that way. I think it was cropped that way. They said
Really?
they used the excuse that because some of it was shot in IMAX that it formats better to 4:3. I don't know if I'm buying it. I think it was a stylistic choice.
Well, yeah. I mean, was it shot for the IMAX? Was it originally going to be like an IMAX release, or
I don't
was it
know.
an IMAX release? I guess. I don't remember. I
Yeah.
didn't. This was during again the time where I was like only streaming when it came out, so I saw nothing in the theaters.
I paid for a 65-inch screen, not 4/3 of a 65-inch screen, or 3/4. I don't know.
Was it
4/3.
worth the 4 hours though? Was it?
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
watch
I
it?
thought it was much better.
Did you watch it all in one shot, or did you break it up and take breaks?
No, I can't possibly hold my bladder for 4 hours. Like
Well,
that's
no.
not even
I mean, like, did you
reasonable.
Did you like come back to it the next day as if it was like an episode or something?
I ate dinner. No, I guess it was basically one shot. I think I took a break for dinner.
Okay, you had an intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think this is like I liked it. I thought it was fun, but it was heavy on the exposition, heavy on the we're taking creative liberties to do whatever we want with the movie. And I actually think it's cool that streaming has offered the ability for directors to be like, you can't have the theatrical version can't be a certain way because it's, you know, got to hit a broad appeal, but the streaming version can be like, you know,
Whatever.
Yeah, hey, let's have 4 hours and like half the movie can be in slow mo because it's like this is my version. This is my artistic version.
Be honest with yourself. 4 hours isn't even near as long as you've ever spent watching like a series, binging a series straight through, right?
Yeah,
Not even close.
Like what was the movie Gangs in New York or something that came out on Netflix with there was another super long movie that came out by famous people, and it was on Netflix and it was extremely long and people were like, damn. And I think like I could see the future being you have theatrical versions that are about 2 hours, and then you have streamable director's versions that are like just taking all the liberties, you know, because even though it was 4 hours and I was like, damn, this is a 4 hour movie, I was excited to like pause it and come back and finish in like 3 versions. Basically, we had 3 sessions.
I wasn't bored watching it either. Like I think it earns its 4 hours. So they basically have 2 origin story movies like packed in there, one for the Flash and one for Cyborg. So you basically like get to know these characters from like start to finish in those in that movie, which they kind of passed by in the original theatrical release. That's why that original theatrical release was so weird. It was 2 different directors. One director shot it, one director edited it. It was totally very different. They actually added like more comedy and more like lighthearted stuff to what is a really dark ass movie. And like they cut up all of the origin story stuff for those 2 characters in a way that didn't really make sense.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was much better. I liked it.
I do want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
Yeah, 4 hours is a lot for a movie, but when you stop, like you said, when you stop and think of it in terms of a TV show, like at this point we're binging TV shows. Why not just have it one long ass episode?
Yeah,
there's chapter markers in the movie too. Like it fades to black and says, "Okay, now chapter 2 begins."
Yeah,
and then fades back into the action. So you could totally watch it like a series if you wanted to.
That's basically what we did when we got to like a certain chapter. We're like, "Oh, we watched an hour. Maybe we should take a break." And I was like, "Yeah, cool. That's fine."
Yeah, I got to see too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it made me think. Like, I think the future of a lot of cinema could be this type of format where a lot of people are preferring to just watch. You know,
let's be honest, the theaters are not going to come back.
Not like, how they were before. That's for sure.
Yeah, I really don't. Yeah. I don't think they're going to recover from this.
Yeah, it'll be tough. But I do like the idea of like you're saying, like having that longer version to watch at home, because you know how like sometimes as well where I mean, okay, I know it's not often that you can just sort of sit down for a 4-hour chunk because like everyone's got busy lives and stuff. But like the occasional time where you just like, I actually have a day free, and that's where you would normally binge like a TV series. It is quite nice.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get so invested in a film, and you're like, oh, it's over already. Like I'll quite happily be like, yeah, just give me the 3-hour long version. So yeah,
I'd be like, let me wallow in the whole experience, even though you got a bunch of slow-mo shots in there.
yeah.
I remember when do you remember when Lord of the Rings, the extended versions came to DVD?
Yeah.
They were so good.
And it was like, holy shit, that was a 3-hour movie and they made an extended version of it.
I think there's more.
Yep.
So once Memes and I, we finished the Alien, series and all that, and now we're going through
All of them?
well, not the Alien versus Predator.
Then you didn't finish them.
We're going for story and canon. Now we're going through The Hobbit and then eventually the Lord of the Rings extended versions.
Oh,
So,
nice.
The Hobbit is terrible. It's not worth
It's
your time.
not that bad.
It is exactly that bad.
I hadn't seen the second and third one. I remember in the theater, the first one, I was like, damn, this is kind of rough. And it doesn't hold up as well. Visually, it's great, but story-wise, yeah, kind of rough. But we're currently on Desolation of Smog right now, going through that.
That movie originally came out at, was it 60 FPS, right?
48. They doubled the frame rate.
48 FPS. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I went to the theater because I'm like, oh, I got to check this out. They're like doubling the frame rate or whatever.
Super weird.
It looked so fucking weird. Like the detail, you could see all the detail of the set, and it just tore away the fantasy. You could see that it was somehow fake. Like it just looked so bad.
It's funny, right? I mean, people must have like, maybe it's because I've spent so many years playing games in the preview window, right? But like, I feel like I don't see half of it. Like there'll be times where like someone will be like, oh man, the CG in this is really obvious. I'm like,
yeah,
it is. I didn't see this at all. I'll be like,
this explains a lot about your love of Jar Jar.
No, Jar Jar is a
Jar Jar was so real looking
species. He was brilliant. But honestly, like it'll be someone will come and be like, oh yeah, the movie looked kind of rough in like this frame rate. I'm like, it just looked normal to me, and I was like, I watched all three of the Hobbits. It was a tradition every year when they came out. I went to the IMAX to watch them. So yeah, I got the full experience.
Nice.
I can't remember why.
Is there a particular Hobbit that was like the best one of the three?
Yeah, who's your favorite Hobbit?
Probably Bilbo Baggins. See what I did there. Favorite. But no. I honestly, like, they all kind of just blur into what. The thing is, right, with me, like, I think because I think this just comes in like all walks of life, games, music, movies. Like, this is why I'm not like a game reviewer. I'm not a hugely critical person. If I can sit there and be like, I had a bit of fun, I'm like, that's good enough for me. Like, I'll come out of a movie and people were like, that was rubbish. I'm like, oh, I just enjoyed my last 2 hours. But like, okay, cool. So for me, like, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, I read the Hobbit, and it's like, all right, to get 3 movies out of that tiny book when you got an entire movie out of 1 book for Lord of the Rings, it doesn't make sense. Like, it would have been better if it was like one big thing. But then for me, my kind of simple way of looking at it is like, I like this universe. It might not be the best told story, but it's 3 movies to sit in this universe. So I'm like, you can tell me the longest, most drawn out, most boring story as you want. It can just be Bilbo sitting by the fire, roasting his toes whilst eating some cheese. And I'm like, I'm here. Yeah. I'm in this world.
And I'm enjoying it that way too. And that in a way, in a weird way, that's kind of how like the Zack Snyder's cut is with Justice League. It's like, Briar said it is a better movie with the way he has it cut, but it is also like, in the experience, you're living in the experience a lot longer because there's a lot more liberties taken with pacing in there. And I feel like the Hobbit movies do that as well. There's a lot more liberties with the pacing to be like, let's gather around the campfire and tell some stuff before we even get to any.
Well, they just made shit up too for them.
True.
It's got a lot of a season 8 Game of Thrones vibe.
That's spicy.
I mean, the best season, right?
Yeah, sure.
So was there a particular favorite of the 3 movies for The Hobbit for you, Eric's?
Honestly, I can't remember what happened.
That sums it up.
What happened?
Let's see. There was some dwarves. There was a hobbit. I think there was a gold ring. I think. This weird dude also with these eyes, you know. Oh, a dragon too. It was a dragon.
Yeah. The first one was good. There was the little dude in the cave who got all sad about the ring. You know, that was kind of good.
Yeah, he likes his hardware.
Can I get your both of your reviews on a Hobbit hole, like pluses, minuses? Would you guys dig a Hobbit hole? Obviously,
love it.
Not a short one, so you can still stand full height. Let's say it was a Hobbit hole with high ceilings, right?
Yeah. I would, you know what? I would 100% live in one of those. Like I realized,
cozy, right?
Yeah, the thing is, especially like when I was like at uni, I always used to be like, oh, I want to live in the city. Like those days are gone. I want to live in a wood cabin. I want to live in the woods. I want to live away from people. I just want to live and just chill. So I'm like, you know, a hobbit thing with like grass on the roof. Imagine on the sunny days, I could just walk on my roof and just lay on the grass and be like, this is great.
That sounds great.
Right? I'd love it. As long as good internet, you know. I don't think there would be great Wi-Fi in those big stone walls. Yeah.
They don't have Wi-Fi. Doesn't go through Earth great.
Gotta pipe it in.
I don't know if they have fiber optic internet at the Hobbit Village.
They might do. You know,
Hobbiton.
If you're gonna have a dream Hobbit village, you need to install fiber optic internet. All right.
Yeah.
I mean that whole you know, the whole Tower of Eye of Sauron. That's got to be a good antenna, right? Just like bring up some wires to the big old whatever it is, the big old eye. That's like.
I get it. He's actually giving everybody 5G. He's penetrating 5G into everybody with his tower.
Oh man, that sounds like something Sauron would do.
Yeah,
that's what that tower's for.
But I mean, you know what? But all these internet providers are evil corporations, right? So I mean, it makes sense. Lines up.
It all adds up, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
I would totally do a Hobbit house. Hell yeah. Dig into the earth. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen some shows where people have dug into or built a house into the side of a mountain like that. Where
they look so cool.
They do look cool. You know, I'd be nervous a bit. Geological structural shifts. Yeah.
Good point.
They make me nervous, but I think I would dig it for a bit, for sure.
A friend of mine worked on he was a well driller for a while, and he worked on this house that used very, very deep drilled holes to run tubing down, and then you recycle your heating water, like that goes through the pipes, through these very deep holes, and it would help warm the house in the winter and cool the house in the summer.
Interesting.
I would imagine that's a lot what it'd be like to live in a Hobbit house.
Yeah, the temperature regulation would be pretty solid, being like in Earth. You know?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I think we solved some life problems here.
That's right. That's what we think about the PlayStation 3 store going offline.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Is there
geothermal heating. Thank you.
Is there anything else that happened last week?
I believe so. I think it was kind of a quiet week, to be honest. I think everyone's just moving out of the way because monsters are coming.
Monsters are coming.
They are coming in 4 days. I gotta find that. I'm gonna have to spend the rest of the day. I don't know about you guys. I'm trying to get the vaccine.
Oh yeah.
I'm now able to get the vaccine, but you've got to sign up, and you got to be able to like get one of these websites to work because everybody is hitting the website. It's like trying to get a PS5, right?
Yeah,
like you can't get it. You know,
the PS5, PS5 RTX stuff was training for your COVID vaccine to get.
That's right. I want to get this thing right, especially you know, spring is right around the corner. I want to be able to go outside. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, California. California's got too many people, so I don't know. It's probably going to be May 1st. I can finally like go and sign up for mine.
Oh, that's right around the corner. Hopefully, it's only 2 months away. It's a month and a half away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my family. Some of my family have had theirs, but like I'm still waiting. I think I'm like further down the line, so I think mine might be like April, May time as well. But,
yeah.
Would you guys trade your PS5 for COVID vaccine?
Nope.
Well, given that right now there's no games, sure.
I think I would. I would.
I wouldn't, because I could wait.
No,
I'd rather wait for a PS5 than to go outside.
No, I mean I can definitely wait. It would be a very different story if you were like, "Would you trade your Nintendo Switch?" I'd be like, "Hell no." So like, I love my PS5, but like right now, until they release some more games, I haven't turned that thing on for ages. I haven't turned my Series X on for ages. I'm just like, until there's more games.
What's the next game you're looking forward to? The next one I can think of is Guilty Gear Strive.
Guilty Gear Strive, yeah, and then Kena Bridge of Spirits.
I guess Kena for me, right?
Yeah.
And that game's coming out on PS4 as well, right? Both of those games are coming out on PS4, I think.
True.
Last night,
maybe on that point.
Last night on my Series X, I was playing some Alien Isolation via Game Pass, which is so nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't touched my Series X is I want to use it more, but again, it's like we sort of said before, like with the whole with like most of the Xbox games, the fact you can play them on PC as well. I'm just like, I just don't know why I need to turn this thing on.
Yeah.
The last time I turned on my Series X, I you know what? It made me realize that I apologize, Microsoft, but like your user interface design, somebody needs to have a talk with you. When I was like, I was finally going to catch up with a friend the other day, and I was like, all right, yeah, add me on Xbox. I'm like, why did I legitimately went on my Xbox. I had to go to Google to type, how do I add a friend? Because I couldn't find out. I found the friend list, but there was no button to add friend.
Same.
And it wasn't even like, why is it not intuitive? It was under a menu that didn't even say add friend. You had to do like expand something, and I'm like, I literally
find someone, right? And then go to their profile to add them or something.
I literally had to go on Google to find a tutorial to add a friend, and then afterwards, what made it worse, after adding said friend, I then had to find a second tutorial on how to find my notifications to join said friend. I was like, this is the worst experience. I don't want to play on here anymore.
That is hilarious.
The UI for the Xbox and the UI for Red Dead Redemption 2 really share a lot in common, whereas like it never makes any fucking sense.
Okay, so I agree on the friend stuff. The friend stuff is very confusing on the Xbox. However, I much prefer the Xbox interface over the PS5.
I don't understand that. The PS5 one is so simple. It's boring, I guess, because it's the same as the PS4, but it's so easy. It's so simple.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I like the blocks on the Xbox, whereas there's a lot more rows and shifting between the rows on PS5 when you're going through menu stuff.
Xbox, I think visually it's more interesting. It's just fucking confusing to find what you want, especially if it's like a setting somewhere where you don't know where it's at, and you don't even know what you're looking for, right? It's like you're like, okay,
yeah,
the HDR looks like shit in this game. How do I turn it off?
Yeah, they moved a bunch of the settings, localized all the settings and profile stuff to when you hit the home button. And like the home button is a little tab thing on the left, and that's where all the information sits. It's not really on like the home screen anymore. Yeah. So I understand that. But yeah. I think that's SideQuest.
It still uses that old Windows tile stuff from Windows 8. I just don't like it.
See, I don't mind that. I actually like that design. There you go. That's SideQuest.
Take that.
86.
You son of a bitch.
We have officially shared opinions on a podcast.
Doc horror. What are we doing?
All right, that's the episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We appreciate the support. Excited to talk about Monster Hunter Rise next week. Very, very much looking forward to it. And I don't really know what's coming up over the next few months. I'm sure stuff is happening, and we'll be digging into it. But yeah.
Eric's? Just Monster Hunter, that's it.
Yeah.
Just Monster Hunter. Updates, Monster Hunter, new monsters. That's it.
Monster Hunter everywhere I go.
Exactly. But yeah, if you want to find more of me, you can find me over on Twitter at Arix or at YouTube at Arix Gaming, where soon we will have a plethora of Monster Hunter videos. So on Friday, make sure you keep it locked.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You find me over at youtube.com/Briar Rabbit. I think it's the URL, more or less. Just look for Briar Rabbit.
Yep.
That's where you find me.
And I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. And same thing, I've got 2 YouTube channels, actually. Tefty channel and also a music channel. Just search Tefty or Tefty Memes. And looking forward to doing some streams for Monster Hunter Rise this week. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Shout out to our subs here on Twitch and our Patreon members. And we'll see you next week for another episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.